Hello, 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 everyone. This is CX Talks coming to you on Good Friday. Every Friday that I am able to see you is a Good Friday. And my name is Robe Hartnett, and I'm coming at you live from Vancouver, BC. I have a lot to talk about today, as I always do each and every week that we come on to what I call spread some love and spread some joy. Of course, for those of you that are brand new to us on CX Talk is a weekly series that we come on, and it's designed to inspire, encourage, and ignite the human spirit. We are a subsidiary of the Street Beat Entertainment Group and also compassx.org, where you can go and follow up on some of the things that we talk about today. We have lots of, I'd say, courses, lots of interesting information that will guide you, support you, and hopefully elevate you to the level that you really aspire to be. So that's who we are. We are CX Talk. We are a subdivision of the Street Beat Entertainment Group and also compassx.org, which is our website. So I encourage you to go to the website and see more on what we're doing. We invite other coaches who feel like they have words and things that they want to put out there to the community, that you can go on and contact us, and you can also be a part of the platform. So again, that's who I am. I am Robe Hartnett. Today I have quite a bit of discussion for you, so I will just get right into it. Um, I have a lot of updates. If you're following us, you would have known that we were doing the CX Talk, the L.S.G series, which is a monthly event that we have, where we talk to some very well-known individuals that are making a difference either in the movie or the entertainment area. And we love to go deep with them to find out what is their inspiration and what has kept them going throughout all of the highs and lows, the mountains and the valleys, and all of the things that they may be experiencing, so that they can perhaps encourage you. So that is the CX Talk S.G series, which basically means special guest. That's our special guest. So an update, we were having the CX weekly this coming weekend, but we won't be able to do it this coming weekend for a few things that have come up that has changed the schedule. So we will be doing CX SG series on April the 4th. And I am so excited about that show, as I am with every show, but I'm especially excited about that show because we have Blue Man Kuma on that show. And for those of you, look up the name or look at the advertisement that I've been promoting. Blue Man Kuma is an acclaimed actor with over 200 movies to his credit. And things such as 2012, which was the disaster movie that took place in California, um, Die Hard. I mean, there's RoboCop. He's in all of those movies. So I encourage you to be able to be there on, that is April 4th. That's a Sunday at 2 o'clock. And you will be glad you did. And we have Natasha Venter, who is a um, life coach, personal relation coach. She's a medium. She has those extra powers that uh, I tell you, she made a believer out of me. So she will be on the show as well. That's a great lineup. And what we're going to do, since we had to move the show from this coming weekend, we're going to have two shows in April. And let me tell you, you will be glad that we did. In fact, in some cases, if it goes well, we could end up with 2 shows per month. But in any case, that's that's what's happening there. So that's one update there. I want to also encourage you to go and look at the on YouTube channel, on our YouTube channel. I encourage you to go there and look at the Dressed in Black, which was a series that I did. It's actually a movie documentary that I did last year. Was the original that was done at the Vancouver Public Library here. But this year I did a Dressed in Black remix that you have to check out. And it is now airing on the YouTube channel on Compass X L.S.G channel. That's the Compass X L.S.G channel. So I encourage you to go check it out. It is trending really fast. So something must be going right. So I encourage you to go take a look at that. That's another update. And also, we have the series of the S.G. Last month. I had Mr. Andy Stokes and Mr. Rob Coleman on. Andy Stokes is a acclaimed R&B artist with major awards. So you definitely want to check him out. He has some very interesting things to say. We also showed his video on there. For those who have not seen the video, you will be kicking when you see that video, and you will go, why haven't I been aware of that video? Or you will say, I was already aware of that video, and let me just keep rocking with it. It's the best day ever. Man, I love that one. I really do. Every once in a while, some songs come along and they just kick, and that's one of them. So you can see why he was #1 on the charts for several weeks on all of the platforms. So on the indie platforms, on the major chart platforms. So go check it out. That's another update. So that's also on the YouTube channel. That's Compass X LSG. Go and check that out, and you can see that that actually interview that we had with him. That's with Andy Stokes. Something that I want to share with you that show you that CX Talk is really on the key, that we are really on the key, is because this week I was watching the show called All Rise. Maybe you are following that show, All Rise. And that All Rise show was talking about unconscious bias. Unconscious bias. And for those that are following me, know that I talked about unconscious bias in January. I started off the first show with unconscious bias. And so I encourage you to go to the YouTube channel, and you can see that series because I have that on there. And you can see why it's taking what I call wings, that it's even being presented on television. It was on the All Rise series last week. They were talking about unconscious bias. And I think it's a noted subject because it's very important right now with all of the climax, the racial climax that is going on in the community, that it's worth reviewing. Even for those individuals that say, oh, well, I'm not prejudiced, or I don't have any, everybody's the same to me. Well, you want to check out unconscious bias. Again, that's a series that I did in January, and check it out. I'm just saying, let me just put it this way. I'm just saying that all of us who are currently in the mix, and that's everybody who's breathing air, should be aware of the multicultural climate that is and will be taking place, and how we as individuals can be navigators of that, how we can support that, how we can encourage that. And if we happen to be one of those who have problems Because let's face it, not everyone is embracing the multicultural uh, spring forthing that is taking place right now. Not everyone is. That's why we have uh, so many things going on that are disrupted. And they've been going on as far as I'm concerned. From my perspective, from the black perspective, they've been going on. But now it's reaching all types of levels. Other um, communities. Specifically, I'm going to talk about the Asian communities. Those of us who are dressed in black and those of us of indigenous origin, such as the indigenous people here in Canada and the Native Americans within America, have experienced this ongoing. So it's not new news to us, it's actually old news. But for individuals who may now be having this unthrust of bias, and let me put it that way, that it's becoming really uncomfortable because so many people are being involved in this, and so I want to talk about the Asian community. Uh, for those again who follow, know that I spoke last week and actually a couple of weeks ago about this, and it seems to be escalating. There's a few things that seem to be escalating, and I'm going to be talking about those as well because it's very important that we as human beings that we be aware of things that are taking place on the planet so we can be the great equalizers of that. Because if you are walking unconscious around and not participating in the demise of that, then you are literally contributing to it because you are not putting out any energy to help bring the value of whatever it is that you believe that may be of a multicultural nature, that you believe in it and that you think it has a value to society, which science does show that. Science shows that having multicultural perspective actually enhances the human experience. That's right, because it broadens your perspective to not have all of these minuses within your spirit. So anyway, I won't get into that. I could go on with that, but I want to just talk so much about and with the time that I have for the day. So uh, there is a extreme increase of violence within the Asian community, and most of that is brought on by the concept that they are the spreaders, or they are the ones we should blame. Uh, I don't adhere to that, and I beg and I put forth to you not to embrace that concept as well, because things happen on this planet, and sometimes a various culture may be the uh, spreader of that. That doesn't make them the fault of that. It's just the way it is. You know, there are so many things that if you live on this planet, that you're going to experience many, many difficulties, many, many challenges, and how you adapt your ability to view those things and how you have an openness about those things will determine whether you will grow or whether you will demise. And so I'm an encourager of the human species to grow. I will always be at that nature. I will always promote that, and as much as I can, and whenever position that I am, I will always promote that. So I will say to you that utilize the tools. Let's not make any race. Currently, it is the Asian community. Let's not make any race, be it black, be it indigenous, be it Native Americans. Let that not be I'm going to put forth the excuse for why we may be angry about something. Let us, as human beings that are on the planet, that were born for a destiny. Okay, I'm going to talk that way. That you were born for a destiny, find the highest height of your being. And we are not born or brought into this planet to vindict, uh, demise, or depreciate any human being. We were not brought forth for that. Okay? So you may believe that, but I'm going to challenge you that there's something deep within the very core of your spirit that has a greater desire for a bigger blueprint that you want to leave, that makes you fantastic as a human being, because you are. So uh, I'm going to end on that piece, talking about that. But I just think I want to bring that up. Another thing that is of concern right now, and I talked about this last week, I'm going to keep bringing up the things that are of concern until we can get over them. The other thing is spousal abuse. It is at an all-time high right now. And so if you are in a relationship, I encourage you to always look to the bright side. Monitor yourself in such a way that you encourage and ignite your mate. This is a person that you live with. This is a person that you are having a life with, and it is the greatest igniter of an individual is their spouse, or if you're a kid, the greatest igniter is your parents. So it's very, very, very important for us to be aware of if we are the perpetrator. I'm going to say that if you are the perpetrator, then it is very important that you do the tools, work with the tools, do the work to encourage yourself for the change that's needed. You will be a happier person when you do that. So I'm going to move through that. So another thing is mental health right now is at an all-time strain. Everyone needs a coach. I'm going to say that. I'm not just saying that because I'm a coach. I'm saying it because it's true. In whatever nature that you get it, everyone needs a coach. You don't see great athletes without a coach. You don't see it. You don't see great actors become actors without some form of coaching. You don't see people who are seeking high spiritual levels reaching that without a coach, meaning having a minister or having a priest or having something. We all need coaching. Don't ever put yourself in a space where you believe that you have all the knowledge. I have a coach and I'm a coach. That's right. I have a coach. So, what am I saying? What are you saying, Robe? I am saying that if you want to elevate yourself to such a degree that you start increasing the vibration level that is continuous. Let me put it that way. That is continuous. Life cycle is a continuation of change. Seasons change. So if you are a human that has the value and the capability for change, and you are not changing, you are suffocating yourself. You are putting your hand around your own neck and allowing yourself to not to be the greatest aspect of who you are. So I'm encouraging you to get some form of coaching. Your coaching can be reading something each day. that is of a positive nature. Your coaching can be exercising, but exercising alone won't do it, because I know plenty of people who exercise that are some of the most negative people in the world. So if you're exercising your body and your body is looking good, and yet your mind is being constrained by major negativity, guess what? There is a controversy there. Okay? So, um, that's what I'm going to say, is that any of the things that we talk about, I am encouraging that we get support from somewhere, somehow, some way from others. And I don't care whether it's a spiritual leader, or if it's a counselor, or if it's a coach, a life coach, or if it's a good friend who keeps themselves in a positive, motivated way. It's very important that we keep the fuel burning to keep us moving in a way for growth. We are part of nature. We are part of the growth of the human species. Human species, it will be no good for our technology to be advanced in major ways if we don't make this thing be above and beyond it. It is very, very, very important. Okay, so let me move on to the next thing. I want to talk about. I'm going to talk about some emails that I got, and because I always encourage people to send me emails, and then I'll discuss those. Because I always say that many, even though you may ask one question, others have the same question. And I had three questions. I had a lot of questions, but I'm going to talk a bit about relationships today. Relationships and parenting. I'm going to try and get through that pretty fast. The email I got says, say, Robey, I'm reading it over here. Robey, I'm having trouble with my relationship. I feel like it is just dead, and I don't know what to do. I love my spouse. I won't say where it was a husband or wife. I love my spouse, and yet I don't feel at all anything outside of me knowing that I love my spouse. Okay. That's very good. That's a very good and a very common situation that takes place. When I do counseling, in marital counseling, that's somewhere at the root of it. And you know why? It's because the freshness that we have when we first meet someone, when we are with them after a period of time, we lose our edge. What do I mean about that? I mean, we take them for granted. And we should never, ever take them for granted. One of the things that woke me up, I'm going to just tell you about my experience. One of the things that woke me up was when I had the opportunity to be with my grandfather as he was passing away. He was my dad, really, because he raised me most of the time. And well, at the beginning of my years, he and my grandmother. And he never said much at all. He was just a yes, no, but you knew he loved you. But when he was passing away for that 2 weeks, and I had to spend that one-on-one time with him, because I had the lifestyle that I could be there with him and could take the time off. I had so many deep experiences with him. And one of the things that I found very, very, very enlightening was that he, a person that never really talked much, was like a bird talking continuously, trying to get me, his grandson, to see and to understand the level that he was on, and that he wanted to spread and inspire so much, because he felt he was leaving this planet. That was one of the biggest moments of my life, because I guess he realized that the time was closing in, and he wanted to just be talking about how he loved the things that he was seeing, the things he was smelling. Everything became hypersensitive. I walked away from that experience with the concept that I was going to make every day, even though I was not theoretically dying or medically being told that I'm dying, but yet every day that I live, I am dying. I wanted to have that concept within my mind that I never wanted to lose the edge. And whenever I encounter losing that edge, I would monitor myself to reignite and refresh myself to go back into that space. And from that day forth, it made me a better lover of my wife, better lover of my children, a better experiencer of my life, in really loving the ability to be on this planet and to do whatever I had to do to make those around me feel uplifted and inspired. So, what am I saying? In your relationship, I'm asking you to garner that effort for your mate, actually for yourself, because there's such a refreshingness to you. It gives you such a vitalization within your spirit that you are uncontrollable. And that will touch everything and everybody around you. So I'm saying to you, in the answer of that question about feeling dead in the relationship, refresh yourself and spring forth that within your mate. And if your mate is still acting dead after you are exposing that, sit down and talk about that refreshing and why. And if that doesn't work, go to a life coach, go to a counselor, and then they can support you and your spouse in the effort to refresh your relationship. So that's what I would say to the person that sent me an email on my relationship is dead. Yet I know I love my spouse. I don't want to give it away. I know I love my spouse, but I feel like my relationship is dead. What do you do? So that's what I would say to you to do. That's what I do every day, and it continuously supports the movement of a greater relationship with your spouse. That's important because any relationship, if it is not refreshed, in fact, refresh it every day. It's like refreshing your computer. Look at it technically like a computer. You refresh your computer when it stops. Refresh your relationship on a daily basis. That's what I would say about it. My next question. I want to, how do you do that? Let me say, how do you do that? Okay. Compliment your mate, touching your mate, hugs with your mate. Do that. It's some of you is going to be uncomfortable. You're going to go, I've kind of gotten away from touching my mate. And so now I don't feel comfortable because I feel like we're not there. Take the leap. Take the quantum leap. That at least creates that. Those are the things. Parenting. My next question, and I'm moving quickly because I always set myself up for 30 minutes in this. I feel like I don't want to be going over that. Um, Parenting. My parenting question is I'm I feel like my kids are all kids or the new generation, and you can't tell them anything. And so therefore I have trouble communicating with my kid. Okay. What do you do about that? What do I suggest in that? Well, that can be tough if it wasn't started much earlier in the game. Yes. But it's never too late. It is never too late. What I suggest, it's going to be a long process if you didn't start this early in the game. Okay. I'm going to just say that to begin with. First, I'm going to say that you have to get real with yourself. What do I want to first discuss with my kid? Is it some discipline problem or is it some scenario that I'm concerned about them? So I'm going to say first, determine the one thing. Don't pile up a million amount of things that you want to discuss with your child because you're going to overwhelm it and it's going to all sound negative. Start with one thing. Even even before I say that, I'm going to do the moonwalk and back up a little bit. I'm going to say to create a weekly session with your kids. I'm going to also say create a weekly session with your spouse. Back to the other question that I had, in that they felt like their relationship was dead. And that weekly session that you have should start with, I'm going to give you a few keys. It should start with this. How are you doing? Number one. And really listen. And then then you take off from how are they doing? Okay. And then your next question will be, uh, so tell me what's going on in your world. And then as they tell you what's going on in your world, and then you say, well, how do you feel things are going on here in the house? And then they will say, and then you say, okay, well, there's things that I'd like to discuss for us to have a better home. Okay. And then these are some of the things that I feel that will be a better home. How do you feel about those things? Because you're dealing with another human being. Okay. So I'll leave you with that. That's just a little piece. If you'd like to know more on the parenting, and if you'd like to know more on the relationship, you can contact me. You notice on the website, on the site here, it has the Compass X L.S.G at gmail.com. We forgot the X in that, so I'm sorry about that, but it's Compass X LSG at gmail.com. Contact me with more questions. Contact me if you'd like to have some coaching one-on-one. I have opened up to coaching one-on-one. I had not been doing coaching for a while because I was working on many other things. Many of you know that I act as well. It's been a busy week now for that. So, in any case, I am so pleased to present to you. I'll be back next Friday at 1 p.m., every Friday at 1 p.m. without fail. And again, I want you to remember the Compass, the CX Talk coming on 4/4, advertisement constantly going out. That will be with Blue Mancuma and Natasha Venter, the medium, the uh, the life coach, personal life coach. So we'll keep going. We'll keep bringing you the best that we can that will be to inspire, encourage, and to ignite you into a greater you. And also remember, I want to tell you, when you get up in the morning and you get dressed, you are not fully dressed until you have dressed your lips with a smile. Okay, I'm Robe Hartnett, and as always, I wish you love, peace, and follow the way. Bye. I'm out of here. Thank you for joining me. Love the time with you. All right. Talking about unconscious bias. Unconscious bias. And for those that are following me, know that I talked about unconscious bias in January. I started off the first show with unconscious bias. And so I encourage you to go to the YouTube channel and you can see that series because I have that on there. And you can see why it's taking what I call wings, that it's even being presented on television. It was on the All Rise series last week. They were talking about unconscious bias. And I think it's a noted subject because it's very important right now. Enjoy stimulating movements and keep your whole